Hi, I'm Kara and I talk to wine. So today's pretty special. I'm excited to talk about this topic, but before we dive into it, let me just start with telling you this. Let's try to look at the color a little bit for y'all. Is a Pinot Noir. You're probably thinking, no, it looks like a white with maybe a little bit of a copper hue. Kara, you don't know what you're talking about. That is not a Pinot Noir. Pinot Noir is a red wine. But wait. So, to kind of talk a little bit about what makes wines their own kind of special personalities, we really have to talk about the skins of the wine, or the skins of the grape, which lead to how a wine actually is visually expressed. So, you are looking at a Pinot Noir. But what happens is, breaking down grapes between white and red, to do it very simply, I want you to visualize something with me, okay? Visualize. I have two grapes in my hands. I have a white grape and a red grape. Now I'm squeezing them both, and I have the juice running down my arms. What color would you say the juice would be for each grape? One would say, oh, for the red, it has to be, pink or red. For the white, it has to be clear or white. But the answer to that question is actually both of the grapes would have clear juice. And that's really the principle I want you to remember when you think about just grapes in general. The juice is going to be clear for both white and red grapes, but what happens is the skins are what give the color to different wines. So, following that thought, you can have a Pinot Noir that is copper or white or not red because the skins have been removed. So we get the result of taking away the skin of a red grape can give you a white, technically white wine. Interesting, right? So now that you know that, now that you have that, this principle, this general knowledge can be applied to a couple different kinds of styles of wine. So sparkling wine, now you know you can make a white sparkling wine out of red grapes. It's called a Blanc de Noir, white of red. Okay, keep that in mind when you see that on the shelves, right? And that will lead to a different style. Think about rosé. Rosé is determinant on skin contact, right? So if you're using red grapes or mostly red grapes, you will have different levels of depth of color of rosés based on how long you let the red grapes stay in touch with their skins to make rosé. So hopefully that kind of clears up color of wine and the origin of colors of wine, and that will give you a little better foundation to think about that. But now that we know this is a white Pinot Noir, I love it. I'm super excited about it because they're not common, but they're fantastic. Let's talk a little bit more about what this wine is. So this is San Giacomo family. Love, love, love them to death. And this is a cool wine because it came out of both innovation for them, kind of taking that step in a really interesting direction, but also trying to preserve quality, which is such a San Giacomo move, San Giacomo family move, because it's 2020. This is a 2020 vintage. This is from their Petaluma Gap Vineyard Roberts Road. And the Pinot Noir grapes had a little bit of smoke. They were affected by smoke, and the smoke really expresses itself in finished wines because of the skin. It really stays trapped in the skin of the grapes. So to avoid, because all those fires, if y'all remember, in 2020 in California were not really great. And some producers said, we'll make the wine anyway, it's not a big deal. But San Giacomo said, let's do something different and cool and make a white Pinot Noir out of those grapes. So preserving the quality, taking away any essence of smoke taint. Cool, huh? Love that. So obviously visually, you get this really beautiful, almost copper color to the wine. So it's just this kind of pink, very light copper, really interesting color. Obviously we know now why. Aromatically, it's just it's just so cool to think this is Pinot Noir because it's completely different than what you would expect to smell. Lots of stone fruits, lots of these floral, honeysuckle, a little bit of an almondy marzipan. there is a nice honeyed nature to it. It has this depth and a lot of that freshness that you would expect from a Petaluma Gap vineyard. Lots of that kind of mineral, fresh kind of rainwater sensation. Love. So obviously you're not getting the tannins, right? Because the skins have been removed. The tannins are not there, that bitter drying. But what happens is there's a lot of still texture. So the wine has a beautiful texture. It's more smooth than you would expect from a regular Pinot. And it has a really full and present sensation on the palate. But then what you get that you maybe wouldn't get with a regular Pinot is a lot of that mouth-watering acidity, that freshness that comes through. So highly recommend, give this wine a try, give white Pinots a try, and just expand that wine mind of yours. And you can find San Giacomo. There's a link below that you can check out. A few more housekeeping items. Don't forget to subscribe, right? I'd love to have you talk about more topics of wine. As I talk to wine, we can talk together. And don't forget, my book is still out there. It's still in different bookstores around the country. It is available on Amazon. It's a great thing. I've been really enjoying giving it, showing it to people. But it's called If Wine Could Talk. So check that out. There's a link for that as well below. But without further ado, cheers to you all and drink more white Pinot. Why not?